Okay, today is December 13th, 2023. It's 10:07 a.m. here in California. And all around the world, for every one of us, for all living beings and non-living beings, it is the present moment. The present moment is certainly not someone in particular, but in fact it has nothing to do with anyone in particular. The present moment, or reality, or even a tsunami, is not concerned with or involved with some place in particular, or some experience in particular, some preference. We need to have some faith, some trust that reality is not our desire or our fear, that reality is not controlled by or fundamentally about yesterday or tomorrow or even today. This is how the meditation mind becomes accessible, practicable, is that we have faith and trust that this physical feeling in the body or this mental formation is not the ultimate, not to be solely relied upon. So what were you thinking an hour ago without just making something up? This means that detachment is not just a good practice and not just a way of being authentic and realistic about our life, but detachment is also a natural process. So what were all my thoughts yesterday? How about the day before that? And with how our minds can be sometimes, we're also thinking about other people's thoughts. And we're thinking about the social agenda of the political elite and the wealthy. So we really lose ourselves in this complicated thinking. And our practice of mindfulness is not this kind of avoidance of that, but it's getting into the hot tub of reality. And this is the hot tub of reality that is concerned with the mind rather than the body. So you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything with your body to get into this state. And the mind simply needs to have some trust, some faith that this present moment experiencing is not to be just discarded or filled up with complicated thinking. If we find ourselves stuck, trapped, it's a funny way to say it, but if we find ourselves in the middle of the ocean, no island, no boat, we've been abandoned by our compatriots, things have not gone the way we wanted them to go at all, and we're just in the middle of the ocean. For a while, maybe we will swim around, mentally or physically. We will be looking for someone or something to grasp onto. And there would just be this momentum of panic and kind of figuring out and grasping at the water, right? Swimming around, trying to figure things out, trying to work things out, isn't it? But eventually, we find ourselves to be stuck in the middle of this ocean. The best thing that we can do, and what we must do, is stop. We've got to stop. And allow the processes to take place, the waves, the heart to come to a calmer place, our breathing to become regulated. There is a dimension here, let's say the created dimension, or sometimes it's practical, sometimes it's less practical, but this dimension of, tomorrow I do need things to go a certain way, and I do need to be paid for my work. And I do need to be healthy and not be sick. And I do need these things to go in a certain way. And that's very practical. Can be very practical. But it's also not up to you. This is just a game that you're playing. This is just a dream that you're having. You cannot control if that boat comes back or not. You cannot control if the Coast Guard finds you and picks you up out of that water, and the next day you win the lottery. You cannot control your physical health, can you? You can do certain things to be more or less skillful or beneficial or not beneficial to your physical health, but we all know that we can't control our physical health. You get sick sometimes, or you get old, or you die. And our mental health is largely the same. There's a stigma about mental health because it's so subtle and because it has so many reverberations. It's so connected to interpersonal experiences that we've had and the environment and the social context that we find ourselves in and that we grow up in, right? But the reality is that mental sickness and physical sickness are just a part of the dukkha, the suffering of being a human being. Not surprising, not confusing, and not to be controlled. So while you may try to control your physical health to be in a certain way, if you have any wisdom, you will know that this body is the body of sickness, old age, and death. Period. In the same way, this mind of grasping, this mind of yesterday and tomorrow, this mind of understanding or not understanding, is a mind of sickness, old age, and death. So you will not have much success relying on this mind, just like you will not have much success relying on this body. It will be limited. It'll be a kind of created success. And for those very wealthy, happy, successful kind of people, well, it's up to them. They want to ride the roller coaster of their enjoyment and ignorance and attachment. Well, maybe if I was in that situation, I would do the same thing. I don't know. I'm not in that situation. But for those people who are sick, have a suffering, have an awareness of their suffering, have an awareness of the nature of this body and the nature of this mind, we need to live our life in a different way to promote the building of merits and the cultivation of mindfulness and detachment. Because for many people, even they are very wealthy materially, they've got the great job, they've got the great relationship, they're young, they're healthy, they've got a nice car, and they suffer a lot. They're confused a lot, they're angry a lot, they're greedy a lot. Their life is on fire. And it affects them to a great degree, surely. It also affects all kinds of other people, human beings and other beings as well. The environment. So we need to get our priorities straight in terms of what we're doing it and why we're doing it. If you recognize suffering, then you can also recognize the cause of that suffering, which is chasing after, which is grasping, which is looking for, hoping for. So just stop looking for anything. Stop trying to get anything. Stop trying to solve anything. Stop trying to be someone. Do you want to be a miserable, suffering person? Or do you want to be free? What leads to freedom? Does money lead to freedom? Does getting the right job lead to freedom? Does a new phone lead to freedom? Does a certain relationship lead to freedom? Does desire lead to freedom? Does the past lead to freedom? Does the future lead to freedom? With mindfulness, everything leads to the right here and the right now. The bosom of reality. if you are not skillful to heal, if you are not skillful to become free, then you need help. So what are we going to do? What direction are we going to go in? Are we going to continue the same cycles that have led us to the same places again and again and again and again? The same mindset, the same justification, the same people, the same dynamics, the same sense of ourself in the environment? Or are we willing to detach, to abandon, to forgive everything up to this point? And so often it's these unforgivable experiences or actions or memories we have that we don't want, that we are unwilling to abandon, unwilling to detach from. Our willingness to detach, our willingness to abandon from the telescope view and from the microscope view is essentially what allows us to practice a real meditation. And using our gut, knowing how to use our gut rather than the politics or the psychology or the societal expectations or the past or the future. Who cares? I want peace. I need it. I've got to have it. So how do we practice in such a way that cultivates that and establishes that? But mindfulness won't be suitable for this. This is not the solution, right? For some people, maybe it is. To allow them to keep skating on the rails of their good conditions, of their apparent health and wealth. Okay? But that's not how Buddhism has gotten to this point. It's not how this spiritual tradition has continued. That's not why we venerate monks and nuns and any great spiritual teachers or leaders or practitioners in our, those parts of ourselves, but also those aspects of our dear friends, right? It isn't because they did this exercise. It isn't because they, fasted for 3 days or did a, some kind of retreat. It's because they live their life in such a way that brings them back to freedom. And that this is, it's got to be the most important focus of our life, to be free. In the microscope, or in the right here, right now, as close as you can see it, the punch in the gut that life is so open to giving us all the time, right? The mistake that we're willing to make that leads to so much suffering. That always happens in the here and now. And this is where our life is, right here, right now, right in this breath, right in this moment of seeing, right in this moment of hearing, right in this heart beating, lungs breathing, everything. Okay, brightly shining at this moment where your bank account isn't going to do you any good, right? Your car is not going to do you any good. Your job, your relationships, your plans, how are they going to help you from this stroke or this punch in the gut or this explosion of awareness, of clarity, of freedom, of forgiveness? We need to touch that in ourselves, regardless of the feeling of being cold or the feeling of being hot. That action of mindfulness, that awareness itself, that breathing itself, that right there-ness, is like a samurai that moves their body just enough to one side to block the blow. Of that addiction mind or suffering mind, that habit energy. And we are in that situation constantly, where moment by moment our mental action, our physical action, our verbal action is creating this karmic retribution, planting seeds constantly. So that action of mindfulness is the natural light, the clear light, the capacity of being in the garden. And then that gardening or that caretaking comes naturally to us because that's our memory, that's our ancestry. That's so much more than just me or you, this isolated view that we have of ourselves. That's just nonsense for the most part. This ego view of ourselves that we've developed so deeply. We are our ancestors. We are the continuation of the human family, of this human experience, but also even deeper than that, beyond that. So this present action of mindfulness, present moment breathing, is everything. Just like a samurai sword in that moment of combat or interaction is everything. And there's a real safety in that. Right? It's the safety of being cut in half by a real samurai with a real samurai sword. Cut in two, whoosh, finished. Versus someone who's slumbering around with a rickety old pole, that's been somewhat sharpened into a blade and starts hacking. Right? And yes, there is uncomfortableness to it. This body is uncomfortable. This mind is uncomfortable. Mental formations, physical formations, they are unsatisfying. Why am I not, where's my Iron Man suit? Where's my mind of great luminosity and transcendence? Right? Where's my capacity to just live this enlightened, completely free, all the time life? Where is it? Well, it's not in this body. It's not in this mind. Or it's not in the grasping to these temporary causing conditions that are coming up and will surely go away. Not separate from those, but not in those in particular. So when we come together in this way with Bhante, with facilitator or teacher, and when we come together with our fellow practitioners, and when we come together in the context of Sangha, right? And we kind of have a key into what's going on here in our practice and our compatriots, what they're here to do. That energy of mindfulness, that collective conscious, supports us to practice deeply, even though there is that awareness of unsatisfactoriness. And that practicing deeply means to practice moment by moment, breath by breath. This breath is life and death. This seeing is everything. This hearing is everything. That's how we practice. And in the broader view, or the telescopic view, uh, we consider how serious we are, how interested we are in this path. Because it doesn't take much awareness, self-awareness, to know that, maybe I'm not ready to be a monk, or I cannot be mindful all the time. I cannot meditate so much. Or just telescopic enough, having a wide enough view to know about your habit patterns and your mental states and your kind of situation that you happen to be in a lot of the time. So from that view, you both consider how you're going to move forward in a comprehensive way, and also a comprehensive view of the situation you find yourself in. Because if you're at the edge of your line, if you're at the edge of your account mentally, well, then you need to give everything to this path. You're not going to, are you going to give everything to a psychiatrist? They won't even see you. You don't have enough money to pay for a psychiatrist. And even if they do, it's a 15-minute check-in, and then you're getting some SSRIs. You're getting some kind of strange medicines. Everything's strange, so, don't take it personally. Whatever works, it's okay. Try to use what you can get. But the point here is that we need to be ready to heal. We need to be ready to transform, just in the same way that we're ready to make money. We're ready to be business people. We're ready to create these mini financial empires for ourselves, right? We need to be ready to make empires of merit, empires of mindfulness. And the Sangha is there for that. The community is here for that. Not just what we can get from it, but how we can give, how we can start volunteering, how we can start doing, that is concerned with merit, that is concerned with generosity, rather than what we get from it. This is a subtle practice, but having a more clear view about the state of our mind and the state of our life, we may need to be more gross about it. We may need to go and leave our life behind and go and live at a meditation temple, right? And I mentioned before, we had a recent case where one of our Sangha members, one of our community members, reached the kind of edge of their line financially, materially, and they happened to be kind of concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and this path, right? And so they're staying at one of my teacher's meditation centers now in LA. And it's very, it's good. It's really a great resource for them. It was that, or just stay on some couch until you can try to make more money, right? So that we can kind of empathize with, and we see the positive point of that, right? Oh, that's nice that, someone can have that avenue materially. But the other side is that, how much do we really have in our mental account? How skillful are we to take care of our mind? If we're not that skillful, we need community. And depending on how strong your addiction is, or how strong your habit energies or your tendencies are, you need more of a full spectrum approach. And the way that cause and effect seems to work, the way that karma seems to work, the way that an avalanche seems to fall, right, is that it's going in one direction. And you can see quite clearly the direction that it's going in. Isn't it? So don't trick yourself or confuse yourself. Oh, it's just one more Snickers bar. Just one more bowl of Frosted Flakes. Just one more rest. No. It's not going to help. It's not one more. This is your life, and it's just spiraling, right? Into what? Depression, anxiety, suffering, insanity, instability of mind. This, I'm not here to convince anybody to practice, but this seems to be the reality of many people. This is the reality of suffering, of dukkha. We can call it unsatisfactoriness, but we can also call it addiction or mental health issues. So recognizing that bigger scope of that suffering that's there, that unsatisfactoriness there, that difficulties that is there in grasping onto the body, grasping onto the mind. How can we detach? How can we abandon? How can we help others to detach? How can we help others to abandon, to forgive? What should we do? We should be mindful. We should start doing good deeds, volunteering, helping. What can I do? How can I help? Switching that energy and that force and that importance from making money to making merit. You can have all the money in the world. It's not going to do you any good if you don't have any merit. And merit is this kind of thing where it's like the good effect from doing good deeds, right? If you do good, you feel good. If you do bad, you feel bad. But this isn't a Christian original sin, good or bad. This is skillful or unskillful. So this is going to be for each person. What it means to be doing good deeds is going to be unique. But it tends to have this quality of working for the others rather than working for oneself. It tends to have this quality of generosity. Rather than self-fixation, it's serving, it's supporting, it's doing for the others. Or at least it's involved with the others. Making money in isolation is just, it's really not a pretty thing. So this zooming in and zooming out of present moment reality, a punch in the gut, which isn't that difficult. Come here, punch you in the gut. It's not difficult. It's easy. It's easy to die. It's easy to get sick. It's easy to get old. Everybody's doing it. It's easy to make money. It doesn't solve people's problems. The world has enough money. It doesn't have enough peace. You probably have enough money. You don't have enough peace. You don't have enough wisdom. You don't have enough compassion. So how do we work to generate and develop these practices? Not in isolation, but in community. How are we going to do anything in isolation? That's what, prisons are for. That's not what the path is about. Being isolated, being separated, being a consumer. Stepping onto the spiritual path is like becoming a child again. And we give ourselves the privilege, the gift to be like a child again, to have trust, to have faith in our teacher or in our community. It is difficult. I find it difficult sometimes with my teacher and with my role models. But that real essence of being a child doesn't have so much of that difficulty. It's just reaching out. It's just saying hello. There's an innocence to it. And here we get to be innocent together. We get to practice innocence. We get to practice our mindfulness. We don't know what's going to happen. Yesterday is a dream. Tomorrow, not much important. There's too much richness today and in this moment. And this practice is a exploration into reality. It's also an exploration into how much we can give up, give away, kind of widen out this sense of self, this fixation on the current mental formation, sense of mind, this fixation on the current experience of the body, and just widening that out, spreading that out. How is it when all of these sufferings, all of these memories, all of these feelings in the body become free to give away, to abandon, to truly give up? How does that feel like? Practicing with the action of mindfulness again and again. But also this wideness of mind, this openness of heart that gives, just like a mother holding their crying child, and that says that everything is okay. Don't worry. I will hold you. I will protect you. Everything is forgiven. Everything is safe. Do you think that mother is lying? Do you think she is deceiving her beloved child? No. So we need to bring up that energy, that parental energy of finishing, ending, resolving. Our mindfulness is very powerful to space out, to widen out, to forgive out. And it doesn't matter what comes up with that child, mentally or physically, what they're going through. That mother, that great compassion has the capacity to say, everything is okay. Everything is to be forgiven and detached from and put down. There is the mind aspect of the mind that says, tomorrow, yesterday, this sense of something else, or some importance, something that needs to be grasped on or held. Don't be convinced by that mind. Come back to this action of mindfulness and this deepening. we can also have this way of no discriminating, no picking or choosing, so that every experience, every moment of breathing, every moment of seeing, every moment of hearing in this present is not better or worse than any other. Rather, it's the opening. It's the direct experiencing. Nothing has more or less any importance or significance. Only the mindfulness, direct experiencing. When we practice our meditation, effortless brightness or effortlessness awareness is important. So we are aware without too much effort. Watch out for the sleepiness or the dullness, even if it's pleasant. And for some of our friends or Sangha members, when we practice meditation, it can be quite uncomfortable or difficult. Never get yourself into a trap. Never get yourself into a kind of tangle or knot. Meditation is something to be a kind of opening and We can experiment with that by how we breathe. We can breathe more deeply or adjust our posture or even stand up or lay down. Definitely don't make meditation into a struggle. But the other side is that to endure brings a lot of merit. So when we have that good opportunity to endure the difficulty or unpleasantness, and we can practice mindfulness, there's a little bit of a difference between getting ourselves up into a tangle or a knot rather than just it's unpleasant, right? That feeling of difficulty. So we never want to get ourselves into a tangle or a knot or a struggle with ourselves, but experiencing that uncomfortableness is okay if you can endure, if you can be with it wholesomely. There's a lot of merit that comes out of that. Our practice in meditation is to see our true face or realize our essential nature. Clouds will come and go. Thoughts will come and go. These can be very, very pleasant clouds, thoughts, experiences. They can be very unpleasant, confusing. But our meditation is to see the boundlessness of this present moment experiencing, the nature of the mind that effortlessly can experience and view, go through all kinds of clouds, noises, thoughts, and yet clarity, solidity, open-heartedness is right there in our breathing, in our seeing, in our hearing, in our awareness of the body. Okay, let's sing a song. So this song is very easy, and well, it's not a song really, but it's a gatha. It's a chant. It's a Buddhist chant, not really a song. And this gatha goes, "The mind is a clear blue sky. Clouds come, clouds go, but the mind is a clear blue sky." And then it goes again. The mind is a clear blue sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. This also applies to mental formations, physical formations, pain in the body or suffering in the mind. So let's try to practice this together. You can try to harmonize with me. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Clouds come, clouds go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. Thoughts. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. Simple teaching, but ultimate and accessible. The mind is not thoughts, words and phrases, or stories. So we'll now open up the space. If anyone would like to ask a question or share about their experience or just share something with the group. And thank you all for listening to my talk and joining for some meditation together.
Thing, if I could.
Okay.
I'm having trouble with sound. I'm sorry. I'm going to get off. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. I don't have a lot to input right now except for I've found the Buddha Book Club sessions in the Sangha to be pretty mind blowing, and well, maybe not mind, spirit blowing in the last three or four sessions that we've had. One of which I think was in a book club. But I wanted to thank the Sangha and Bante for facilitating these extraordinary events, and deeply appreciative to be here. Thank you.
Hi, Bante.
Hello, Luke.
You can hear me okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Good, thanks. I just had a question about meditation. You were talking about sleepiness in meditation. When I try and meditate in the evening, like sitting meditation, I just fall asleep as as much as I try. I was just wondering about using walking meditation in that at that time. Would that be something you would recommend for stopping sleepiness?
Yeah. Walking meditation is good. And you can also practice to meditate before you go to sleep. But maybe it's better we can meditate sitting up in our bed, and then when we lay down, to go to sleep or do kind of just deep relaxation and to calm and release and to, go into sleep. But when we meditate, that's one of the things to watch out for, is that we can get ourselves into these states and we think that it's like we're absorbed in wisdom, but actually we're just kind of zoning out or even zoning in. And really, we want to be stable, aware, and the real kind of insight states that will come along in meditation come from long, continuous practice and detachment, right? So that's the difficulty. Sometimes we feel very good when we practice meditation, and we're like, oh yeah. And then sometimes we feel very bad when we practice meditation. We're like, oh no. But it's actually our capacity to return to mindfulness when we're practicing. And this also goes with like sleepiness or hunger, right? It's our capacity to come back to that mindfulness that's going to open up the insights to happen, to be possible. Yeah. So an experiment. The more that we can experiment on this path quite like seriously, the more we can benefit others. And we're doing that on the mind side, and then we also do that on the material side, right? For volunteering, for doing good deeds, for supporting in other ways, for building meditation center. We've all got all kinds of different capacities for becoming a monk, whatever. Um, we keep experimenting, and that's how we develop our spiritual foundation, materially and in terms of the mind and community, right? And that's community is built by people who show up and practice and experiment. So thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Bhante.
Gloria, would you like to share something before you take off? You have to unmute your microphone there.
Okay. What I wanted to say is, let me take my glasses. Is I hear the things that you say, but a lot of people is not they can't really uh just give up or just stop, because if you have family, you have to think of them as well. And if you have accumulated a lot, and I'm speaking for experience because I had to start all over, but I choose to. I was in a situation, those material things didn't mean much to me in my life. And I'm just saying, a well balanced mind can easily incorporate the things that you're saying and still maintain, because you can't take none of these with you, but it's hard to, after years of establish or reestablishing, just to walk away with it, to live up under somebody else taking care of you.
Yeah.
Because to detach from completely, what are you going to be? Homeless? I've been there already before. You know, even though it was a short while, but I know how the suffering, I understand the suffering, not only with me, but with the people that's there. And that's why a lot of things that I do in the community is to help the suffering. And I don't get paid. For many years, I don't get paid. Do I in medical field? Am I getting paid? Yeah, just a little. I just only work a part time, but majority of the things, even to the church, volunteer to be there and be mindful for the people that's suffering, because I had to suffer to be prepared to understand someone else besides myself, you know? So what I'm saying, I hear what you're saying, but not everybody fortunate to live like you live. And some people also is not fortunate that lives like you, that want to live like majority of us. So there has to be a balance,
Yeah.
you know? Because just like when I was in school, uh, balancing all that was sending me into a trauma, because I was doing too much. I couldn't be mindful. I was studying theology. I could not focus. So I had to let a lot of things go. But you can't just stop and just be mindful and here and now without also being mindful of your responsibility, you know?
Great.
I admire you that you can do what you can do, but I can't do that. I live for serving people. And I enjoy my being able to have what I have because God provided it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I'm comfortable. I cannot take these with us. I cannot take it with me. I know that. That's why I'm grateful. But to walk away again at this age, that's insane.
Right, right. So there are many roles and responsibilities that someone can take in the church, right? There may be someone
Yes.
that is very robust physically and also intelligent, right? But maybe they are not skillful to make money. And at the church, they can provide many service and they can help, they can volunteer, they can do a good deed, right? And that allows them to be a part of the community and also to feel good about themselves and maybe meet their basic needs. But they are not suitable to be a preacher or a pastor, and they don't need to be, right?
No.
In in Buddhism, especially in the West, we're just kind of starting out fresh. So there are not many Western monks. There are not many groups like this group. There are not many opportunities for visiting the meditation center. There are many Buddhist temples, but there are not many meditation centers, right?
Yes.
So, from my side, responsibility is opportunity. And, Gloria, I get the impression that you are quite a robust woman and a caretaker and someone who has a relationship with their spirituality and, has gone through things and kind of healed and grown and continues to do that, right? And for a lot of
Mhm.
people, they haven't necessarily got to that point and they may be materially in poverty or they may be mentally, and we can say spiritually in poverty. And so recognizing the responsibility in that is an opportunity. And I think the less that we have to separate these things and make them into absolutes, so like being a monk or being a business person, the better. And in Asia, or traditionally in Buddhism, and I think traditionally in spirituality, religion, you have the opportunity to be a business person, but to be concerned with and to be in relationship with the church or the religion or the temple or the group. And that's what I want to see more of. And I want to see more of that because that's what I've got the most benefit from, right? When I graduated from my, high school education, I was in many ways mentally bankrupt and also materially bankrupt, just basically because I didn't have that drive. It wasn't really planted in me for whatever reason to make money, to go that direction. So the spiritual path and spiritual community and circles like this, but more even being residential and being able to stay there, gave me the opportunity to change my stars, so to speak, change my direction, change my life, my mind, really. And I want more people to have that opportunity. And in bringing all these kinds of things together, we get a more actionable path moving forward for not just volunteering, but volunteering concerned with our spiritual community, right? Volunteering
Mhm.
concerned with connecting people with meditation or the teachings that we get value from or the community of practice, right? And that this kind of brings everything to go together. And I think at that point, someone's in a better position in general to take care
Yeah.
of their financial needs. And different people have different goals. Some people will be comfortable in environments that other people wouldn't. And that's um, just how things are. But it's never so. Detachment in Buddhism is never about rejection. There's never a teaching like, hey, you should be a monk. Let's make Gloria to be a monk somehow and give up her possessions and what she's developed. It's more that we recognize the impermanence, and you were talking about that, the impermanence of our possessions, mental and material, right? And this can also be the impermanence of our understanding about Buddhism or understanding about meditation, so that we don't grasp onto that. But not grasping onto that doesn't mean that we reject it. It means that we know how to use it without attachment. Using only,
Yes.
not just for ourselves, but for everyone, in fact, for everything. And that's kind of this bodhisattva, or this greater path that's for not just for my enlightenment or for my peace or for my health and wealth, but for the health and wealth of everyone, for the community,
Mhm.
for um, all beings. So that's my side
I
of
ju-
it.
yeah, I just want to say one thing that you said. I concurred is because we went through the suffering and we reaching out in the community to help. With me, when I'm in that environment, especially people that comes to my church, usually it's homeless people. I try, and it's something else I learned by serving the homeless. All they need is courage, motivation, and someone to care. I find and out what is their skill? What can I get them to do to make them feel important? Because once you spark that desire, and I'm speaking from experience because there's some, not all, they working now. They got their own apartment. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just look at them like assembly line. You come to my church, you eat, you come there, you hear the word, and you fellowship. No, that is more than that. If we're gonna be out there to help, we're not there for a show. God gave us gifts that different gifts, and my gift is because I care. I love all people, even my enemies. My enemies don't know how they motivate me, bring me to another level, of understanding why they trying to destroy me. So I'm with you when you said that, it's just not, we're people, if I seen someone that didn't have skills in certain area, I have the connection where I can give that training. Everything that's given is not for me personally. It's to do God's will. It is to help others without being selfish. That is not why God gave me these opportunity to help people. And it ain't costing me a thing because things come to me that make it better. The system come to me to make it better to serve others. I don't pick and choose. Whoever needs, I help. I have helped my enemy. That really humbled me too. But but I'm happy. I have internal peace. And with this community, and that's why I say it came in just in time for my life because I kept getting burnt out. And I said, Lord, what am I doing? I'm not prioritizing because I have reached a level, some things I needed to detach from, right? No, it no longer served me because when God shut one door, he opens another. And I had to be still. And in that stillness is when I observed you. I said, wow, I like that. Like-minded people. I want to be in this community, you know? And as I study, y'all just getting up and moving. And it's resonate within me. And that's why I keep it before me in prayer is, okay, God, how can I serve this community? Why have you shift me into this uh, environment, this atmosphere, and I'm still um, observing, but you observe in the quietness and being still. To also, I know that you can't hear or see if you're moving fast. because you're going to miss the small little things. That means more than the big things that you're looking over the side, on the other side of the fence, you know. And I'm a type of person in church. I am a leader. I took care of church for a long time, but I learned something because I had a different idea about church. And I can see why a lot of people fall away from church. Oh my God. But I'm grateful for every day, every moment. And I seek to learn. I don't know everything. I have failed many times, but I get back up. So I just want to be with like-minded people that's willing to get out here and serve for other, and has that inner peace, joy doing it. You're not doing it for yourself to be showing off, because we got a lot of that going on, especially in the church. You're just doing it because it gives you peace. And it really do. So I want to still hang in there. I pray for you, Bante, to continue, because, we never know what someone else is going through. To continue to be strong, continue to seek your divine, your meditation, your style of meditation and stuff. But your style of meditation helped me center myself during my stillness. That's the purpose of my God, because he had something for me to do. And that's to get involved with this community. But you don't move fast. He said, don't be anxious for nothing. You learn in being still and meditate like you, Bante, and because that's a spiritual thing that you are doing. And it helps so many people, because it's not about us, especially if you called. We can't hear anything. We can't strengthen our mind or balance in our mind and see things in the spiritual realm if we don't learn how to be still and be in the present moment. So I just want to give you kudos. Thank you. You got me smiling again, feeling good, not mad.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. What a wonderful gift for
Yeah,
our community here. So thank you.
you're welcome. I'm sorry that, where are you? Okay, there you are. I dropped the phone. All right, so I'm getting ready to go to the gym now. You take care, and thank you for listening.
Welcome.
I love you all. And the community to me is a family, and we work together. We don't trip each other.
That's it.
We help each other. All right?
All right. Thank you, Gloria.
Take care. Okay, I'm sorry I gotta leave. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
That was so sweet of Gloria to speak like that to us and to you, Bante.
Yeah.
And I like because she was so sincere and spontaneous. And I think it's very a joy to hear her faith and how she, in the same time, working in a church and taking care of this family and coming in the community that is really different. I love to see all those mixing culture and thought and activity, because that's what we are here in the community. We are so different in everywhere, every way, culture, age, religion or not, and some are sober, some are not. And I love that too, when we can hear that expression. It's important to, I think, to feel good, to hear those. Every people can sometimes express themselves like that. So thank you to offer that beautiful place so we can be ourselves.
Yeah, we are really blessed and fortunate to have this community, that we are established like this, and we can continue to grow and see what that means, moving forward. Hopefully, I plan to stay committed on this path, and um, as much as the other members of our community also have that mindset, then there's only more wholesome states of mind and practices and developments that will take place. Yeah, more opportunities that we will have. And what I really appreciated very much about Gloria was just the practicality that she pointed to, and that drive and that inspiration to offer, to support, to see what we can do here, what she can bring here, and but also not to rush, and not that feeling that there's something that she needs to do, to offer or to help with, or but just to sit and watch and listen. And that's really how we should approach our practice. Otherwise we can trip up unnecessarily, and then we have to wait again to get to a point of stability. And just the presence is such an offering. The presence supports so much. Recently, we reached, just today we reached 10,000 subscriber for the YouTube channel. We reached the 10,000 mark, and just the wonderful point of that is that all of that has just come from kind of the original point of this community. That YouTube channel was made as a extension of our gatherings, our community meditation sessions and discussions and sharing. I guess about 2 or 3 years ago, Nina was here when we started, and it's done so much good, and we're just kind of thriving and have this equanimity here, this balanced, fertile soil. And that's something for me to live up to, but it's also something for our Sangha members that continue to show up to live up to, and know that we've contributed to that and can continue to support it and develop it and plant seeds in it, right? This is the fertile soil to plant seeds for this monk life meditation community. All right, anyone else want to share something or ask a question? So Nino said something. Yeah, Nino, I was thinking about you a little bit, so I'm glad my wisdom was able to cut you in half. We get to know each other through sharing and like deep listening, and especially practical things that come up, rather than like our thoughts and our opinions and our politics. But things come up and we share that, and we learn about each other through our experience and the sharing of the other's experience. And that's good, but primarily we're in relationship through practice. You know, at least, especially for me as a monk, that's what I come back to. That's what I stay with. I'm in relationship with my community through virtue, meditation, and insight. And there's a lot of freedom in that because what goes along with wisdom is compassion. So we can feel safe to experiment, to explore, to share, to be dynamic in our ways of interacting, but coming back to Sila, Samadhi, Panya, coming back to our mindfulness as this place of communication, place of interbeing. Did you want to say something, Sonia?
I could say so many things, but in the same time, I prefer not to say anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we'll end here. And we'll finish with the sharing of the merits. So everyone, welcome to repeat after me. And you can unmute your mic as well. May all the good deeds that I have done till now,
may all the good deeds that I've done until now,
and also the effects of those good deeds,
and also the effects of those good deeds,
be offered and shared out towards all beings.
be offered and shared out towards all beings.
May all beings find rest and peace in this moment.
May all beings find rest
and
in this
peace in
moment.
this moment.
May all beings rejoice and share in our good deeds and their effects.
May all beings
Rejoice and share
rejoice
in our good
and share
deeds
in our good
and their
deeds.
effects.
May our peace especially be offered to those in the area known as Israel-Palestine.
May our peace especially be offered to those in the area known as Israel, Palestine.
May peace be established in all beings.
May peace be established in all beings.
In all beings.
May it be, may it
May it
be,
be.
may it truly be.
May it truly be.
May it truly be.
Okay, we'll ring the bell and have 3 sadhus. Sadhu.
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 Okay, thank you, friends, for joining. See you again soon. Take care.
See you, everyone.
So much.
For those who watch on YouTube, if you have any questions or sharings, feel free to reach out to me directly at bantevp@gmail.com. That's my email and easiest direct way to reach me. bantevp@gmail.com. Take care, everyone.